Welcome back to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex and today we're taking a look at retro-styled shooter DUSK on the Nintendo Switch. Influenced by the greats like your Quakes of the world, can it stand up to its influences? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. So no real story as such with this one, you'll simply be blasting your way through what is 3 episodes made of 11 levels each. They contain overarching themes, but I wouldn't say any real lore to back it all up, and that is absolutely fine. This isn't setting out to be a narrative-driven experience. Instead, it's out to be a no-holds-barred, fist-scroll 90s inspired shooter, and I'm going to tell you now up front, it absolutely delivers. Jumping into the main menu though, nothing is off limits here, with episode selection allowing you to start where you please with 2 modes, campaign and endless. In campaign you can start from any of the 3 included, that's going to be the foothills, the facilities and also the nameless city. Each, as I said, packs at 11 levels, and once you've beat them you can jump to a handy level select so you can achieve all kills, find all secrets and better your time, including beating the dev's best run. My instant reaction to this one though, it's just so confident in what it wants to be, and it's about as smooth and fast as they come. You know, no like reload animations here or complicated maps, rather your guns will shoot until ammo is depleted. Enemies, they will often attack in numbers while you run at an incredible pace. You can even jump all over the shop to move even faster, and then enemies, sure they can absolutely be bullet sponges, but they always feel fair. On a note of difficulty as well, the game packs in 5 options to put you through your paces. No shooter is complete though without a suitable selection of weaponry, and DUSK, it does not disappoint, though it may be a little bit more grounded in reality than its peers. Think here, shotgun, pistols, you start with sickles, a sword, assault rifles, crossbows, mortars. Enemies though will often take multiple hits before exploding into a million pixels. They all feel different as well and absolutely have their place. I fell in love with the super shotgun for example, but quickly realised I was wasting this extra power on what is weak enemies, so you can still be here a little strategic. These weapons then they carry over from level to level unless you select what's called intruder mode. Do this and you'll be starting each level on the sickles only, and you will need to collect up an arsenal again. That's particularly challenging when the game goes no holds barred on you in those latter levels near immediately. Outside of that then, expect to kill with throwable items, shoot at the classic exploding barrels, and there's even then one overpowered item that I'll let you find for yourself that kills instantly. Enemies then have consistent themes per episode but escalate in intensity, and they definitely make a return appearance. We'll start with a cult though of sorts in the opening mission, we'll move on to military and then finally to demons. There's a nice variety as the game slowly drip feeds us new foes that require just a little switch in our strategy, from those with melee attacks to projectiles to just swarms that are generally weak but they can quickly outnumber you. Just because these enemies have basic movesets, so do not think that they are weak, because they actually benefit from the fantastic level design. There's always a clear exit, but often this world it opens up or it has like an arena feel, so they can actually come from any direction and frequently they will get the jump on you. On that note then, level design, love the layouts. It's pretty standard stuff, you know, find the exit setup with a whole lot of switches and keys to unlock doors, but it always had something up its sleeve to surprise me. An early example, I got a key for a door, went to use it, and the floor beneath my feet it collapsed and it felt like I was falling for miles. Fortunately, it's not a game with fall damage, which is going to be a good thing in this case, but it just shifted the level style immediately from open to exploring these almost claustrophobic caverns filled with enemies. Outside of campaign mode then, we also get endless mode. It's, as the name suggests, waves of enemies attack and you do your best to survive, choosing from the core 3 locations or what's called the palace. This is a bonus map taking influence from Peach's castle in Super Mario 64, and it's instantly recognisable even if it's now covered in demons and a whole lot of blood. As ports go though, this is top quality stuff. 60 frames per second, it runs perfectly locked. We get HD rumble, and then we even get motion controls. I appreciate the effort of including motion, and it's got sensitivity options in the menus as well, but for me it's just such a quick game that I didn't feel the need to use it. I've always been more of a motion control only when I'm aiming down the sight of a gun, but options are good and it's definitely in here. Complaints wise, very few honestly. Multiplayer is not here, you will find that over on Steam. It would be fantastic to see. Also would love some form of co-op action as well. Occasionally then enemies, they got stuck on the environment. I did exploit that on a few occasions. I also got stuck on the environment on a few occasions as well, but you could argue that's the 90s influence and it was also rare. Otherwise though, this is top quality and I hope it leads to further entries because this is a series I could absolutely get behind. Graphically, it's not going to surprise you, but early 90s 3D, so a whole lot of things sharp edges, texture details that are minimal and stylistically blurred, and then enemy design would be best described as blocky, and there's relatively minimal and repetitive animations. Still, I absolutely love it. It's a throwback to exactly what it wants to be, and it doesn't stop these enemy designs and locations impressing in their creativity. They are also intense when they have a course set to intercept you, or they are firing projectiles towards you. Menus and suitably stylistic as well, it's all easy to navigate, and if I had a couple of complaints, it would be, and this is me being picky honestly, the options could do with a cleanup for console to make navigation as easy as the main menu, and when selecting a difficulty they use a blood red that I found kind of difficult to distinguish. Audio finally, and this is my favourite bit of this entire experience. The guns sound heavy, the enemies sound retro but suitably intimidating, and there's a few environmental effects to kind of build on the world, but the real winner, it's going to be the music. It's exactly what I wanted. An overarching theme of metal for sure, but it throws in orchestral instrumentation, dashes of electronic, and there's for sure an industrial sound in here frequently as well. As a Trent Reznor fan myself, you can hear the influence from Quake, but the composer Andrew Hulshult has created something that stylistically stands out, and it should absolutely be celebrated. So the final verdict, and Dusk is a winner. If you are a retro shooter fan, Quake, Doom, Duke to a certain extent, then you owe it to yourself to add this to the library. It's got everything you could hope for, creative locations that vary in their layout, enemies that consistently escalate in difficulty while asking for a slightly different strategy, and a gameplay loop that plays into the classic explore, find keys and switches, and escape, but it adds just enough variety that it never gets dull. Then the package itself, solid visual work, incredible audio, a decent selection of options, and the port work is top quality. My only issues are occasionally wonky AI and the lack of multiplayer. Maybe the latter though we can get in a future patch. Without the luck from me today, an amazing 9 out of 10. It absolutely stands up to its idols, and if you were someone that picked up the recent Quake release, then this should absolutely be in your library as well. So will you be adding this one to the collection, or have you added it already? If so, what do you all think? And with that then, like a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch, as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.